Phanganist.com. Thank you for speaking to us. And you're the co-founder of Travelfish, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. Is it with your wife? You have the website.
That's right. Yeah, we started it almost 16 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So we hit 16 in about a month or so. So yeah.
Congratulations. I'd also like to say thank you on behalf of Phanganist for you featured us as the website of the week. I think David did that, and it was a really nice write-up.
Oh, right.
So
yeah, okay, nice one.
Thank you very
Welcome.
much.
Yeah.
So how have you're in Bali? Have you been there for the whole of the sort of COVID situation?
Yeah, I was in Malaysia, in KL, just when COVID started to ramp up, and came back in here. Maybe it was about a week before things started to really shut down, and it's been like totally shut down since. I mean, it's quite difficult to leave or come in, almost impossible, really. Internationally anyway, you can still do some travel like within Bali depending on where you're going. Mm-hmm. But even inter-island travel within Indonesia can be a bit challenging. Mm-hmm. But there's not really much in like the way of like 14-day quarantines and that kind of thing is, at least for people traveling domestically, isn't so much of an issue. But it varies very much location to location.
Are you with your family, your whole family there?
Yep. Yeah, we're all here. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the kids are doing school from home and that kind of thing. And, yeah, just waiting to be able to get on a bloody plane again, you know, going, like I normally travel a lot. I'm normally away, about 2 weeks a month. And yeah, so it's been a while since I've done any travel, you know.
So let's start from the beginning, Stuart. I mean, what gave you the initial idea to set up Travelfish?
Before I started Travelfish, I self-published a couple of guidebooks in the early 90s, one to Vietnam and one to Thailand. And then we came back planning to do a book on Laos, which would have been a huge seller, not. But anyway, then there was an economic meltdown and in 97. And so we ended up doing guidebooks, did other work, like we worked at the embassy. I worked at the Nation in Bangkok for a long time. And then it was just like, the internet was becoming more popular, and we were still traveling a lot. And so we just decided to put something together. And it started off as just a collection of our favorite spots in Thailand, which was really like a lot of banana pancake stuff, really. Koh Phangan was very well served. And then as we moved around, like we were in Bangkok for 7 years, then Phnom Penh for 2 years, and Jakarta for a couple of years, and so on. And as we moved around, we just slowly grew the site. And as it became a bit of a business, because neither of us are from a business background, we're both like reform backpackers, we realized we could start to make a living out of it. So we started taking on other writers and that kind of thing. And so it sort of grew. We've had some very good years and some very lean years, and nothing like this year. But that's sort of been about, the site has sort of grown up with us. Like initially it was very much only backpacker stuff. Like, you know, we'd turn our nose up at anything that was more than like $20 a night. But that was a long time ago, and we travel a bit differently now, and so cover more mid-range things as well, and family travel, and you know, blah blah blah, like that kind of stuff. You know,
I did read Sorry, I did read an interview with you about you do like to cover the more out of the way places, though. Is this still the case, even though
Yeah,
you're
for sure.
doing more mainstream? Yeah. What do you like about it?
Well, I mean, you need to cover the mainstream stuff to be able to make a living out of it. But then I much prefer to travel to places that are a little less touristed, I guess. And so that's why I'm a big fan on Indonesia, because I can travel here for weeks and not see another foreign tourist, and which is quite difficult to do in Thailand now. Well, like not right now, but like normally it's generally quite busy. So yeah, I like to get a bit more off the beaten track, but I mean, it's impossible to make money out of that kind of thing. So because there's nobody going there, so you've got to cover the mainstream, or at least touch on the mainstream as well. Yeah.
And did you live in Bangkok for a while?
Yeah, we were in Bangkok for 7 years.
And what was it like living in Bangkok?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. I mean, we didn't have children then, and it was very fun. It's a good town to party in, and we were still traveling quite a lot. And I think Bangkok has changed tremendously over the last, say, 20 years. And it was a good time to be there. I think we were there as they were still building SkyTrain and that kind of thing. So it was making that transition from a kind of banged up Southeast Asian city to this thriving metropolis. And yeah, it was an interesting transition. I mean, and the good thing about really anywhere in Thailand, particularly Bangkok, is you can be somewhere that's very, very heavily touristed, but you've only got to go down one soy and then you're back in Thailand again, you know. Like people turn their noses up at Khao San Road and that kind of stuff, but I mean, you only have to walk 5 or 10 minutes and you're back in Thailand, you know. And Khao San Road is its own kind of Thailand as well, so you know.
Before we move down south to Koh Phangan, I did want to ask, one of your children was born in Thailand, is that right?
Yeah, it's my daughter.
Yeah. I have a baby boy who was born on Koh Phangan, and I just wondered if you had any advice for people. I mean, there's more, and obviously you're covering families now. For people who are raising their children in Thailand in particular, what would be your advice, or have anything?
Well, I mean, like it depends on what they're looking for. I mean, for an island, I mean, Koh Phangan has always been one of my favorite islands in the entire region. Like, even though it has changed so much, it's still like a real soft spot in the heart for me. And parts of it are fantastic for families. I mean, Koh Lanta also is another really good one. Jam is more low key. I took the kids over to Southwest Thailand over Christmas, New Year this year. So we went through like Koh Phangan and Panay and Libong, Sukon, Bulalay, like all of those Southwest islands. And they're all like, it's so easy in Thailand, you know? And you can, if you've got a family, so you can split costs for like chartering a long tail to go between islands and that kind of thing. I mean, the kids love it. And I mean, particularly with little kids, I mean, this isn't unique to Thailand, but you go into any restaurant and, you know what it's like when your first child is like 6 months and you're just like, oh my God, you know, like I'm dying here. And the staff will just come and take them, you know, and they go up to the kitchen or whatever. It's like, chill out. It's like, man, that never happens in Australia, you know? And so that whole like family is really important, really comes to the fore in Thailand. And I think it's something that is one of the many fantastic things about the country, you know.
Yeah. And when was the last time you were on Koh Phangan?
About maybe 2 years ago, I think.
Okay.
I used to spend a lot of time there. I'd come up to Thailand. This is before Travelfish. I would come up and sit on Koh Phangan for 6 months, and then go back to Australia do whatever work I could find so that I could go back up to Koh Phangan again. And it wasn't a very productive period of my life, but it was very enjoyable, you know. And on the back beaches and the lower key destinations, and it's a great spot to lose a lot of time on, you know. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Do you have like a favorite local restaurant you can think of, or some spots?
I don't know so much about a restaurant. I mean, beach-wise, like Hat Wai Nam on the up near Hat Thian on the coast is I really like Hat Thian as well. We used to go there for the fasting when Moon was running that sanctuary. And then on the west coast, Hat Salat. Hat Salat was where we used to stay in the 90s. There was only 2 places to stay on the beach then. And it was, I think, 40 baht or something for a beachfront shack, and so it was the bee's knees. I mean, Tong Nai Pan's nice, but it's pretty upmarket now. You know, it's still a nice place to visit.
And so you used to come here for 6 months. That's one of the things I wanted to ask you. Is when people are traveling. You know, I read and you were speaking to someone about people wanting to fit in so much into 3 months now. How long do you feel that somebody should stay really in one place to get the best kind of feel for there?
It's very difficult to say. I mean, it depends on your interests in the destination. And I mean, if someone's really into food or something like that, they might want to stay for ages, you know. I think, like, bare minimum, any destination anywhere is worth a night, you know. Well, except maybe for Phoi Phet, or that's Cambodia. But I mean, almost anywhere is worth at least a night. And I think when you see people like do consulting where people come to us with an itinerary and they say, you know, is this sensible or not? And often it's laid out like a military expedition, you know, and it doesn't work like that. You need to slow down and smell the coffee. You know, if you're doing one night in a range of different destinations, all you're doing is moving around and packing and unpacking, you know. And often you see people, they would come and they would go to, like using islands as an example, they would go to like Koh Tao and Koh Phangan and then go over to Koh Lanta and Phi Phi and Koh Kodan or whatever. But they're doing all of that in maybe 4 weeks. And it's like, okay, the islands, they're all different. Like there are different features to each one. And different food and people and what have you, but they're not that different. And if you've only got a short period of time, say like 3 or 4 weeks, you'll probably have a more relaxing, enjoyable vacation if you're going to fewer places, you know. Like just go to Koh Phangan and spend a month on the island and go to like 4 different beaches instead of as soon as you got to go off the island, you lose a day, you know. Because you got to go down the port, get on the boat, get out of port, go find a hotel, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that's not, I mean, it can be fun, you know, but I mean, it gets dry after a while, particularly if you've only got a short period of time, you know.
I'm sure you're aware that one of the things here, which, you know, we always try and encourage people to stay longer than just for the